Okay, let's get into it, because the circus surrounding Diddy just took another chaotic turn. While people online are out here screaming that charges were dropped, the reality is far messier and, honestly, a lot more dangerous for him. TMZ may be shouting headlines and social media might be in meltdown mode, but if you actually read what's going down, the prosecution is not backing off. They're just cleaning house and sharpening their tools for the kill. So, what really happened? The prosecution has not dropped charges against Diddy. What they did do is simplify the charges. And it wasn't even something they just did out of nowhere. The judge asked for it. The case is packed with multiple layers under the RICO umbrella. And if they dumped every version of each crime on the jury, it would have turned into a confusing mess. So instead of saying Diddy attempted kidnapping or attempted arson, they're saying he just did those things. No need to clutter things with variations when they're going for the jugular. This is about tightening the focus so the jury doesn't get overwhelmed by all the legal spaghetti. Now, these aren't new charges or lesser charges. It's the same allegations. The prosecutors just said, "We're not wasting time on whether or not he tried. We're saying he did." So no, Diddy didn't get a break. He got a more direct shot headed straight at him. Streamlined doesn't mean soft, it means serious. And while that was happening, the defense made a bold move. They rested their case without calling a single witness. Not a soul came to the stand. No celebrity friends, no business associates, not even a desperate plea from Diddy himself. They tossed in a few text messages and then zipped it. Now, this could either be the legal equivalent of dropping the mic or a last-ditch hope that the jury just isn't buying what the prosecution's selling. But either way, it's a risky move. Prosecutors have spent 28 days laying out the receipts. We're talking about alleged sex trafficking, illegal drug distribution, transporting people across state lines for these so-called freak-offs, hotel bribery to destroy surveillance footage, and even possible witness tampering. The evidence is deep. There were 34 witnesses. It wasn't a light show. It was a full-on exposé. Now, let's talk about what's coming next. Closing arguments. Thursday and Friday are going to be packed. The prosecution will present their closing arguments first, taking their sweet time connecting every dot for the jury. Then the defense steps in on Friday to try and dismantle it all. And come Monday, the jury starts deliberating. But here's where it gets interesting. Monday bleeds into Tuesday, and by Wednesday, we're up against a major problem. Thursday and Friday are July 4th court holidays. That means the jury either wraps this up quickly or they're stuck coming back after the holiday weekend. And let's be real, no one wants that. That's where pressure comes in. Judges can bring in a skeletal court staff and tell the jury to keep deliberating even during the holiday. So you better believe that some of those jurors are going to be thinking more about family barbecues and fireworks than dragging this case into next week. That's when people start pushing for consensus. And consensus might not come easy. This case is a legal Rubik's Cube. You've got multiple charges under RICO. Everyone has a different opinion. Some folks are out here saying Diddy is guilty of everything. Others think there's nothing that's going to stick. The reality is, not every juror will agree right away. But don't underestimate the psychological warfare of a looming holiday. That push to wrap it up before the long weekend is real. History shows that juries often miraculously find clarity when they don't want to spend the 4th of July stuck inside a deliberation room. Suddenly, those 28 days of testimony start clicking into place like puzzle pieces. And let's not forget the stakes. RICO charges don't require every single act to be proven. Just 2 underlying crimes are enough. The prosecution only has to nail 2 of those predicate acts to get a conviction. And baby, they've got options. Drug distribution, allegedly proven through witness testimony and raids. Transporting sex workers across state lines, allegedly proven through contracts, flights, and explicit intent. Even if they lose the more fragile charges like sex trafficking, where coercion is harder to prove, they might still win the war. Because let's be real, this isn't about one isolated incident. It's about a pattern, a lifestyle, an enterprise. And once the jury sees that picture painted in full, the dots start to connect. Of course, Diddy's team is hoping that silence speaks louder than evidence, that the lack of a defense case makes the jury think the prosecution didn't do enough. But that's a gamble, especially when you've got 34 witnesses saying otherwise. When you've got Jane Does with contracts, flights, and thousands of dollars exchanged, when you've got bodyguards allegedly acting more like gatekeepers to something out of a horror movie than security professionals. And then there's the speculation. Will the prosecution offer a deal? Maybe, but it would have to be big. They're holding cards that could land Diddy in prison for a decade, so any deal would need to be serious. The prosecutors know they've got a shot at a major conviction. And after all the public scrutiny and intense buildup, why pull back now? So what's next? The jury gets their instructions, they listen to the final arguments, and then it's in their hands. And while they're locked in that room, the clock starts ticking. Do they come to a verdict by Wednesday? Or do they risk spending their 4th of July inside, poring over transcripts while everyone else is enjoying the sunshine? The judge isn't going to let them off easy. If they try to declare a deadlock too soon, the court will push back. They'll be told to dig deeper, talk more, find common ground. That adds even more pressure, and pressure can make people snap, but it can also bring clarity. So here we are, standing on the edge of one of the biggest verdicts in celebrity legal history. Will Diddy walk? Will he fall? Will the jury take the easy way out or stand firm and dissect every shred of evidence? One thing's for sure, the fireworks might be coming early this year. If you're ready to see how this drama plays out, stay close. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single explosive update.